Hello and welcome to my in-depth video on 75338 Ambush on Ferrix set. So in this video I'll be talking about this set, starting off with the boxer, and it is quite a nice boxer. They have a grey line for like the Andor show, and you can see Andor and a stormtrooper in the bottom corner, which does look quite nice. And the box art itself is quite cool. You can see the speeder bike and the ship in the foreground, and like a couple of buildings in the background. The ground is kind of a purpley red, and is it works well with the grey. I think it does look quite nice, and you can see like all the details. So 75338 Ambush on Ferrix, which has 679 pieces, and in the bottom corner you can see the 3 minifigures. And onto the back of the box you can see a bunch of the features, which I'll talk more about a bit later in the video. And you can see the set kind of opened up a bit. So the set will cost £70, $70 or €80, and it just doesn't look like that price of a set. And I suppose the thing is, with a speeder bike and the set is probably a £50 set minus a speeder bike, so kind of makes it seem much smaller than it would be, which is kind of accurate. But it does seem like not worth value. The pieces are there, it just, to me, that doesn't look like a £70 set. And yeah, so onto the minifigures. There are 3 of them, and first one being Cassian Andor, and he looks pretty cool. I do think that they've done this one pretty well. I think the long hair looks nice, and like the bright green kind of stands out. Like maybe in the trailer, I don't remember this version of him in the trailer, but it does look pretty cool. And there's like the nice gold belt, buckle on the belt, and then he comes with a blaster. Then on to the minifigure of Luthen Rael. Reminds me a lot of Tobias Beckett, because it's similar kind of minifigure, and the green, like olive green, looks kind of nice. And then he also has a blaster like the one that they've used on Mandalorians. And then Syril Karn, which is one of the, you see these a lot in the trailer. There seems to be like an army or group of them, and it does look pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of a Cloud City person. And yeah, it is quite nice. I do think the gold / orange, it is more orange in this show, which is kind of inaccurate on the minifigure. It stands out quite nicely. And yeah, onto the set itself. The set is quite cool. The amount of interior they managed to put on it is quite impressive, and it does look to be a fairly good set. It just doesn't look worth the value. And yeah, like the features, there's a lot of them. It has the wings fold up, and you can see that like the back panel fold down, it's like an entrance ramp. It has a full interior, which is quite impressive, that they've got like a couple seats and then a like front part for the pilot. And I think there is something on the other side. It might be shown in a different image, but yeah, it is quite impressive that they've managed to put this amount of interior on a set that looks this small. It isn't actually that small, but anyway. And yeah, the turret on top has a couple stud shooters, which do, I don't know what my opinion is on these. They kind of don't look, they look really bad, and that is a main flaw of them. Admittedly, I did think whenever you tilted them forward, the studs would fall out, but that is apparently not the case because of slight like design, the way they've designed it. It does look like that, but they won't. And yeah, you can see that they will fire. They put flat studs in. They've generally gone with like a stud, with like a proper stud on top, but interesting that they've gone in green. And yeah, I'm guessing that will be accurate to the ship, because you only see a back shot of the ship in the trailer, and I'll talk a bit more about that later in the video. But yeah, you can see it here. And the speeder bike is pretty cool. I do really like the speeder bike. The design of it is really nice. It's quite long compared to some others, and you can see it fits 2 minifigures, and there's a spot to hold Cassian Andor's blaster. And it just does look pretty cool. I like the like front part. It looks kind of like an Imperial speeder bike, but different. And they've used the extended lightsaber hilt pieces, not actually what they're used for normally, but still is probably, I think, the first time they've used that in a LEGO Star Wars set, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it does kind of show like a nice chase scene, which is called Ambush on Ferrix, so kind of makes sense. And yeah, you can see a kid playing with it, and it is quite nice because they do, it's an immediate, like, you have 2 sets, one versus the other, quite easily, unlike a couple of other sets this summer. But anyway, it does look like a really good, like, opposition play set. Mainly only 3 minifigures for £70 in this kind of style of set. Kind of disappointing. It would have been nice had they included another blue person, maybe. But yeah, you can see the other side of the interior, it does also have seats on both sides, which is quite nice, and that's why I do think they should have included another minifigure of the same style as the blue person, because it probably would be accurate and also fill out the interior slightly more. And yeah, it is quite a cool set. I do think they've done it pretty well. It just doesn't look like it's worth the price to me. Maybe that's just me, but it just doesn't look like a £70 set. And I suppose this is to do with LEGO raising their prices. And yeah, it might be to do with that, and that is why it doesn't look as good value compared to some others, and maybe whenever other sets get adjusted for prices, which is something that will be happening shortly, sadly, but anyway, it might look more worth its value. But yeah, for accuracy, there's not much to go by. This, I'm pretty sure this is the right set here, and you can see a few of them flying in. And yeah, the back is accurate. There's just not much to go on. The engine should be like half of a circle for like the outer part, and they've gone with a full circle for the inner part. But yeah, it doesn't look too bad, because I suppose they rotate, so that's kind of why they've done that, but albeit less accurate. And anyway, do hope you have enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.